Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, Addison may get a new building, Downtown's Concerts in the Park series returns this week, and Water Resource Commissioner visits Addison Township.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. In a 6-0 vote, the Oxford Village Planning Commission voted to opt out of allowing recreational marijuana establishments into the community until they develop ordinance language. Opting out would have to take the form of a council enacting an ordinance prohibiting all types of marijuana establishments. The motion was prompted by the statement made by General Counsel for the Michigan Municipal League that limits decision time to September 1st, 2019. If the village does nothing toward an ordinance before the state begins accepting applications, every type of licensing would automatically be allowed in the municipality.
The Addison Township Public Library presented several plan options for a new building at their June 3rd meeting. The building would be in a lot across the road from the current library. Pontiac-based TDG Architects presented 4 building potential plans to the committee, all for a 5,000 square foot building with different floor plans. While the floor plan decision has yet to be made, the public can view more details at letsbuildalibrary.org.
Unfortunately, there will be no Lone Ranger Parade this year. Event founder Rod Charles, who organized the parade since 2013, said the parade is not happening because no one stepped up to take over for him when he announced his stepping down from the responsibility last spring. Charles organized the past posse, which was an all-volunteer group who organized and fundraised for the event in the past. Going forward, Charles indicated he's still willing to help anyone who's interested in planning an event in Oxford in the future. Social media groups expressed interest in taking over for Charles. However, he said no one contacted him to do so.
Oakland County Water Resource Commissioner Jim Nash paid a visit to the Addison Township Public Library last week to chat with the public about a variety of issues. One was the nation's aging water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure. He said when the infrastructure was constructed in the 1930s and 40s, the average life expectancy at that time was 50 years. Today, much of the same infrastructure is still in use. He said federal investments became insufficient back in the late 1980s to the early 90s.
After working for the Sheriff's Office since 1986, Oakland County Sheriff's Deputy John Dobroriak has retired. John started on working at the county jail and continued there through 1990, after which he switched to road patrol in Orion Township. He then worked in Oxford from February 2000 until 2008, when he moved over to Addison Township, where he finished his career. Congratulations, John.
Later this year, the American Legion Post 108 in Oxford officially turns 100 years old. And it is now looking for a new generation to carry the torch. Last weekend, the Post Service Officer, Fred Sensulo, asked the Post 9/11 veterans to stop by the Post and see how they could help. He said Post 9/11 vets are the future of the Post 108. Volunteering to help does not mean taking up all your free time. There are many capacities in which one could volunteer. Just stop by the Post and see what they need.
Oxford Elementary School is losing its entire support staff. Secretary Donna Weiss, media paraprofessional Maureen Kiplinger, and special education paraprofessional Peggy Kay are retiring. It's a bittersweet time for these 3 women. Although they are excited to embark on new chapters in their lives, they say they're going to miss days at OES.
You know, they seem awfully young to be retiring. What am I doing wrong?
I noticed that too. Police officers, meh. You know, firemen.
They look like babies.
Yeah.
And they're all retiring.
Yeah.
Come volunteer here. That'll keep you busy.
Oh, yes, it will.
So I'm upset about the Lone Ranger Parade. I've been involved. I was involved the first 2 years with Rod on the posse. It's a lot of work. There's no doubt about it. Rod does a lot of work, and people came and went on that posse. I would like to have seen the people that did express, which I saw on Facebook, that they were interested in helping or volunteering. I'm sorry that the twain did not meet.
Yeah.
Because we won't have an opportunity next year to have it.
That's true because of the road construction.
Yeah.
There's only going to be one lane traveling south. Northbound is going to be closed, so not a good year to have a Lone Ranger or any kind of a parade.
It's a sad year to, I don't want to say abandon the project. Rod built up a lot of momentum in the last 6 years. Unbelievable. It's the biggest parades that I've seen, and I say it rivals the Rochester Christmas Parade. Bad year for this to happen because of that road construction. If we had the parade this year, we might be able to withstand losing a little bit momentum next year and then pick it up again in 2021.
Right.
But
Well, I
it's
know
too
the
bad.
DDA is pushing, to get the pain taken away some degree, the road construction out there.
Yeah.
They've got marketing money, that kind of thing. But I agree with you. I mean, Rod has done a great job in the past. His volunteers have done a fantastic job, for the village.
Yeah,
And-
everybody that was involved.
Right.
I have to say, the chamber also did the lineup, which is a near impossible job. So they worked well together. It's just a shame that somebody didn't stand up, or it's a shame that Rod picked this year. And I know he's been saying it for a year. I've heard it. It's just a shame it was this year because,
Right.
like I said, we're going to lose big momentum, and it may not ever be the same again.
Well, let me just say to the public out there, if you're interested in bringing back the Lone Ranger Parade, perhaps part of the organizational phase of this, contact the Downtown Development Authority.
Yeah.
That would be the first place to begin, probably. And maybe, who knows, what can happen here, we can get it going again. I really do hate to see it, all the hard work in the past, be unclaimed.
Yeah, the momentum was incredible.
Right.
The contacts that Rod made and the people that were excited about being involved in it, I just feel like, I can't help but feel like we've somehow abandoned them. And I have a lot of room to talk. Like I said, I was on that committee for 2 years, and it takes a lot of time that a lot of people don't have. And that was something Rod famously said all the time was, everybody's got the bright idea, but they don't have, and I'm paraphrasing, the time to carry it out, And so Rod took the time, and it's a legacy to him that he created such a successful event. It's just a sad year for him to have to go away.
Well, we have a great community, and I can't see why, we can't have enough volunteers come forward, to make it happen again. And maybe work with the chamber some degree,
or just get in touch
too.
with Rod, because like I said, I saw people volunteering on Facebook. I saw people talking about it and upset about it and willing to help, and somehow they didn't contact Rod, which is a shame.
Well, I
He's easy
know
to get a
one
hold
person that was interested, but they were unable to get a
Contact
response.
him. Yeah,
So-
I know.
Yep.
Anyhow, that's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories or others, you can pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us on our website at occtv.org, YouTube, and of course the regular cable channels, Spectrum, Channel 191, and AT&T, Channel 99.
Coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with school sports and schooling around with events in Oxford schools with Alexis Ware. And you won't want to miss what
Terry
happened.
Stiles. I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home. And I want to say thank you to Pauline Bennett and Alexis Ware for filling in for me for the last 2 weeks. I had some health issues, and they're all good now. And so, back to you, Elgin. Sorry.
Okay, and I'm Elgin Nichols, of course. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of School News. This past week, 5th graders district-wide had middle school visits. Oxford Virtual Academy and Bridges Day School had graduations in the Performing Arts Center. 8th graders had their Cedar Point trip. The Board of Education meeting was held at OES. Saturday was National Trail Day and Pollyant Trail's opening day, and Sunday ending the week with Kingsbury Country Day Fair. Last week was certainly packed with tons of events and graduations as we near the end of the school year. If you missed any of these events and would like to see them, be sure to tune in to the Schooling Around segment as well as our Community Access. Moving into school news for this week, Monday, June 3rd, OMS is having their yearbook signing party in the OMS Fieldhouse, and the district's Suzuki Strings Program event is happening in the Performing Arts Center at 6:30. Tuesday, June 4th, Oxford Elementary School is having their OU theater performance from 1:30 until 3:30. Wednesday, there's quite a few events with Lakeville having their field day, 7th graders taking their end of the year trip to Michigan Adventures in Muskegon, Leonard's 5th grade celebration, and the 8th grader awards night was from 6:30 until 7:30. Thursday is the 6th graders end of the year trip at C.J. Barrymore's in Clinton Township from 7:30 until 2:15, and Lakeville's 5th graders are having a celebration starting at 12:30. To end the week and the school year, Friday, June 7th is the last day of school district-wide. OMS, Bridges, and all of the elementary schools are having early releases, so check with individual schools for exact times on this day. And as well as Lakeville 5th graders are also having their 5th grade ceremony. In board news, if you missed the last Board of Education meeting on Tuesday, May 28th, here's some highlights from that event.
In these 9 years, Connie has taken teams to the state tournament every year. So that's a tournament that happens in March, typically happens on the west side of the state. Do you know how many times that you guys have gone to the national tournament?
I think we've got 8 of those 9 years.
So the national tournament happens somewhere in the southeast corner of the United States every year. So Connie has taken lots of our kids to that. And along that run, we actually had a national championship that came as a fruit kind of for all of that work, which is pretty amazing. For all of that time and energy and all those kids that have been served, Connie has gotten absolutely nothing from the district other than the gratitude of a whole bunch of kids that have been served. So I wanted to make sure Connie she thinks she's retiring. Yeah. Connie thinks she's retiring from the program. There's a few of us that are going to really work hard to try to keep it going, and I know that we're going to rope her back in for some support. But I wanted to make sure she is sort of officially stepping down, that we took a minute and that we recognized her tonight.
Thank you.
So next on our list of 3 people to recognize, and Mrs. Mueller was really smart, she gave me a script to read. For those of you who attended the retirement party the other night, it is a very emotional time for all of us. So I'm going to the script. I'm not even going to pretend to talk from the heart in front of all these people. It'll end up badly. We would like to recognize 3 colleagues from OES that are retiring this year: Donna Weiss, Maureen Kiplinger, and Peggy Kay. Donna has worked as an administrative professional for Oxford Schools for 18 years. Maureen has been a paraprofessional for Oxford Schools for 21 years. And Peggy Kay has been a paraprofessional for a number of schools in several states for approximately 24 years. We can easily recall their years of service, but how do you measure the impact that they have had on the students, families, and staff?
That was footage from the last Board of Ed meeting. To see the full video, visit our Facebook or YouTube page at Oxford Community Television. Remember that if you would like to be in attendance at one of these meetings, the entire community is welcome to come out. They are housed at different locations every meeting, so be sure to check for the right location before showing up. The meetings always discuss policy, educational goals and concerns, curriculum changes, and annual budget maintenance. Before we go, if you attended prom or graduation this year and would like to have an opportunity to be featured on School News and the Schooling Around segment, submit your prom pictures as well as graduation pictures to manager@occtv.org or on Facebook at Oxford Community Television for a chance to appear on the next few episodes of School News. Parents, grandparents, teachers, and students can all submit pictures with a name and a short description of the student. Remember that this is open to all students in the Oxford School District. Congratulations again, alumni, and that about wraps up School News for this week, but don't go anywhere yet. Next up is Cody Wright with School Sports.
There's a lot of history to Oxford. Hidden around every corner, deep in every crack, and sometimes right in front of you, waiting to be discovered. If you just dig a little, you'll find the great history of our beautiful town. Welcome to historic Oxford.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright back here once again for this week's Sports Report. We don't have a whole lot this week, but we do have a lot to look forward to. We're scheduled to cover the first senior softball game this week at Seymour Lake Park, but we got rained out, so our next game is next Wednesday, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled for that. Back to our high school sports season, which luckily for us is still going on. The boys varsity baseball team captured its first district title in the last 11 years, taking on Lake Orion. The boys absolutely pummeled the Dragons, even though the Dragons beat Oxford all 3 times we faced them this season with a combined score of 23-1. This time was a much different story with a final score and district victory 9-1. It's been a fun season, I'll say that, but we have some new action sweeping in with the summer. Here at Seymour Lake Park, we cover all the Parks and Rec games that go on here in the next few months. This last week, we covered 12 and under softball and Little League softball, which is now posted on our YouTube page. And lastly, the Tough Mudders is coming through, and we will be covering that as well. We'll be doing interviews of participants, tons of footage of the obstacles, and myself along with Alexis Ware from Schooling Around, we are going to be running in it. It's a 5K event with GoPros to see what this is all about. So be sure to keep your eyes peeled for that next week. Like I said, we don't have a whole lot to go over this week. Usually I have some Little League interviews to but I'm sure we'll have that for next week. So that is the full of it. If you want to take a look back at the high school season, go to oxfordathletics.org. All of the official records, stats, and past articles are all going to be found there. Once again, that is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out. That is OCCTV.org. All of our coverage of these events, along with many other programs we put together, can be found on our YouTube page, which you can access through Facebook or through the website. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.